Starting. Okay. Hey guys, I'm here with Calypso from INTJ and INFP Coffee. She's an INFP. Calypso, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. Oh,
do you have it open?
yeah, I do have it. I'm gonna close it.
Oh, so what you need to do, you just mute the volume on it.
Oh,
that's what you
never
do.
mind. I'll close it. Okay. So I know, like, from watching some of these videos that when you talk over each other, the image goes split back and forth. So I'm gonna curb my NE and not do that, not interrupt you. Just
Oh, you don't have to worry about that because I have it right now where it's only on you.
Wait, really? No, that's not.
No, so I have the power to change it back and forth.
No, that's too awkward. That's so weird.
Okay, so now it's on me. It's on me now. Okay. It's on you now. On me.
Oh my god. Okay, I just like to point out such a nice INFJ judger. Like, before starting this call, she told me all about how to do a live video and what to expect and everything. And I didn't even know anything about the process because I just go in as a perceiver and experience it as it comes.
Well, it's okay because I've actually, throughout these interviews, I've had that question almost every single time. So don't worry about it. You're not the only person I've had to walk through it with people. I really should make like a video about it because so many people ask.
Yeah, but yeah. A video on profit.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll start off with when did you find out you were an INFP?
Okay, I found out when I was probably in high school or college. No, college. First, Alex had me take a test because we were friends from school, and I don't know, ever since I was little, I never really, like, for something like personality types, I didn't think that that was something to get from a test. So I just read about what is a thinker, what is a feeler, and I was like, I decide for myself. I decided that, like, I am definitely a perceiver, and I thought I was, like, maybe extroverted, and I thought maybe I was, like, a thinker. I was so funny now to say that but I think that, like, everyone with FINTE kind of interacts with the world in a more external logical level, and it's all the feelings that are kind of inside. So I was thinking, how do I act? I try to act logical, so that must mean I'm a thinker. And then, like, Alex was like, no, there are cognitive functions. You can't just be like, am I a thinker or a feeler? So then I read the cognitive functions, and yeah, INFP.
So we have Alex to thank for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very INTJ of her. I feel like INFJs and INTJs tend to get into it like, well, from when I was, well, I guess also INFPs. Do you know who, do you watch Joey's channel or do you know the INFJ Joey?
INFP? Joey?
Yeah, he's an INFP. I don't know if you've ever watched his channel, but I'm friends with him.
Yeah, I watched the channel.
So he actually introduced me to MBTI.
Oh.
So we went to high school together. So it's kind of interesting.
Wow, it's like the secret lives of YouTubers. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, okay. So when you found out that you were an INFP and like studied the cognitive functions, what do you think kind of changed you, or like what opened your mind, or like kind of what happened after you found out?
Okay. Oh man, this might sound like really conceited, but I feel like I probably always had a good understanding of myself. So I feel like maybe learning about MBTI as a type, it didn't actually make me understand myself that much as, okay, there are labels now, but it helped me understand other people like a lot more. Yeah, just understanding that other people might not have FI. Yeah, like understanding the other judgment axis was like probably the most important thing that happened to me because both of my parents are on the TI-FE axis. Understanding differences between the perceiving axis, it also helps, but that came way later. Like, I feel like the possibility for friction between people of different perceiving axis, it's more subtle, and it maybe comes within like once you're in a deeper friendship or relationship already. So that helped like way later, like recently.
That's really interesting. I feel like for me, it was like, this makes sense. And I actually did learn some stuff about me because I always felt misunderstood before. And then I was like, because I actually first mistyped as an ENFJ. And then it's kind of weird, but yeah. And then I like actually studied the cognitive functions and really put a lot of research into it. And then I was like, okay, this makes so much sense, and my eyes were open. And I did learn things about people, but it was more like, I don't know, kind of understanding why I do the things I do and stuff. So trying to think of what's the best next question or something we can go off of. Okay, so how would you I ask this all the time because I just find it very interesting. How would you describe yourself as like an early child through adulthood? How do you think, like, how was your evolution? Okay, well, we can...
Such an NI question. No, I love it. It's such an NI question. Holy, yeah, because my mind automatically goes to, like, specific examples. I know people in the comments are going to be like, haha, she's actually a censor then. But whatever. My mind goes to specific examples, not really, like, a pattern of growth evolution. But I can kind of answer that. When I was, like, really young, I was really shy, obviously, like pretty much every other kid. Not every kid, but I would sit in a room and play with toys for hours on end and create backstories for the toys. And I once cried when my parents told me to get an extra ketchup packet at McDonald's because it was so scary, like talking to another person. Please no, in like an unfamiliar territory. That's just the worst nightmare. I used to cry a ton. Yeah, I guess functionally speaking, I realized that I had like strong values that bugged me a lot. Like I believe when I was maybe like 3 or 4, my grandpa tied the tail of a dragonfly on a string so like me and my cousin could play with it. And then I just thought about that experience and the nuances of that experience for like years after. Like, was that wrong? Was it like, well, yeah, I was wrong, but like, how wrong was it? Like, am I a bad person forever now? Like the SI things from my past are they're just kind of with me forever. So like kind of when NI users see time as more of like maybe a progression and the SE things are in the past, but it's something that I am slightly jealous of. I find that for me, it's kind of like everything is still there. Yeah, maybe that's why it's hard for me to talk about it as if it's a linear progression. But anyway, I remember one thing that I think it's somewhat interesting is that I was really obsessed with being unique. And I know this is an Enneagram 4 thing, but I really wanted to do the quirky thing. Like I think I watched a bunch of films that were quirky, like David Lynch or Louis Buñuel or whoever. But recently, or not that recently, maybe starting from like 3 years ago, I started wanting to be normal. Like I started really trying to fit in. I think maybe that's like FI and E growing up to be more aspirational SI and TE, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's just normal Enneagram progression.
Interesting. That is interesting. I guess I didn't really think about that, but that makes sense. I can understand why that question is hard for some people and like easier for others. Because to me, it's like, oh, I can see exactly where I was. That's interesting though. No, I think was friends with a lot of INFPs when I was younger, and I feel like they were pretty similar. And I think I was kind of similar in a way as well. Well, as at least as like how you describe when you were little and stuff. What exactly were you like in college, or like what kind of changed when you were in college, or did anything change?
Yeah, it was like a really big change because I moved to like a big city for university, and then I feel like I try to change my identity or outward behaviors to match how I want it to be or how I truly am inside. So I think I acted way more extroverted and I mean, honestly, like making friends and having good relationships has always been a value of mine. And I think the shyness was kind of keeping me from that. So I think I tried to develop that in particular. Wait, I have a question, Tiki, about the progression thing. When you say that you see it so clearly, is it like a visual? Is it a collection of visuals, or how do you see the time progression so clearly, as you say?
Hard to describe, I guess. I mean, even though I say I can see it clearly. Okay, so I mean, I can just, maybe it's visual. I don't know. I don't know if it's even visual. I just know that I was a really quiet child, and I also cried, but I had like high anxiety and stuff. I was creative. I was very inquisitive in many ways, and just like kind of just very quiet. I was like the quietest person, and like I can kind of visualize that, like how I was very artistic, very I was good in school and I didn't have to try. And then like I can see myself like throughout the years. I don't really have like the details necessarily, but it's like I can just see it. And then I see like myself get older, and like I can, it's almost like astral projection kind of. That's how I see things. Like
Okay.
I kind of remember things from someone else's perspective. Like I don't think of myself I don't know if it's echoing. I don't think of myself as like, when I think of memories of myself, I don't see it from my point of view. I always see it as like I'm looking down on myself, and then I kind of see it go forward. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's like I don't
No, it makes sense. I don't really have that, except maybe in a couple of my dreams that I see myself from a third person, but it's not my usual experience. I just kind of mentioned it because it's interesting that you say you don't really have the specifics, because I feel like for me it's always a collection of specifics, right? And then it's almost like my NE just latches on from one specific to another. And yeah, the pattern, I can definitely, like, I think that's what's confusing to people, right? Like, as a human being who has some intelligence, I can like see the specifics and verbally come up with a pattern, but I don't naturally see things as like a pattern here and a pattern there. Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's interesting how just like different minds work cognitively, even apart from like if we're thinking in personality terms. But yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What would you say is your biggest strength, and what's your biggest weakness?
Oh my god. I recently thought that the worst weakness is the SE. And okay, it's kind of like convoluted when I say SE, but I kind of realized that I'm really bad at using external logic when it comes to objects. So I think Alex recently was like, I think sometimes putting IKEA furniture together is fun. And I'm like, no, this is my worst nightmare. Like using simple tools, complex tools, they kind of get to me. It makes me really anxious. I don't even know. I can't explain it. Oh, I have like really bad anxiety about driving, and Yeah, just stuff like that. I feel like it's so obvious sometimes. Like, I feel like there are a lot of tools that almost everyone can use with no issues, and yet the thought of doing it is just really scary to me. And some simple tools, like a vacuum cleaner, like I might think about vacuuming for like 2 hours before I actually use it. And I think that's like I think it's a huge weakness, because it sounds like, okay, that's just 2 things, but really it extends to so much of my life. And if you can't use some of these things properly, it really like hinders you in a lot of areas, and you become like weak and inefficient. No, I'm kidding. But it's really true. I think about it a lot. And then I think my greatest strength, oh God, I want to say something like my thought processes. I think my thoughts can generate and proliferate within themselves. Like I can have 2 ideas that turn into like 20 ideas. I don't know. I think that's the biggest strength. I mean, I don't personally profit from it a lot. I feel like it doesn't really help me a lot in daily real life, but I think that's probably the best non-physical skill I have, if that's what you were asking.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's interesting that you said about what's it called? The like using tools and stuff. Like I love driving. I don't even like I just like go in autopilot. I'm just like I just love this. I'm like
driving is actually I just had this conversation with Alex. Maybe it's somewhat interesting to share, but I was saying that like I imagine things like I've never done this, so it doesn't really make sense. But I imagine things like veering out of the lines, even though I'm trying to not veer out of the lines, and then crashing into the sidewalk and then spiraling out. But when I imagine these things, like in any fashion, it seems like real. It seems like my body reacts to it as if it's real. But maybe that's not like an INFP anything. Maybe I'm just like anxious. But I think it's somewhat related to NE and how it can shut SE off and vice versa.
The interesting thing about that, the people that I know that get kind of afraid of driving are actually INFPs and ENFPs. Both of those types, I mean, it might not just, but I've just found that those types, at least of my friends, those are the ones that are hesitant about driving, which is weird. But so what? I don't know. I think it's echoing. I don't know if it is.
Are people saying that it's echoing? I closed the window, so yeah. But
I can hear it echoing in my thing. But okay, either way, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
What inspired you guys to start your YouTube channel?
Oh, it seems. Wait, I'm pretty sure I suggested. I'm not sure if I suggested. Oh my God. That's so funny. If I don't remember who suggested it, Alex probably will also not remember who suggested it, since she has even weaker SI. But we were talking about MBTI like constantly. It came into every one of our conversations just naturally. Like we'd be talking about a mutual friend of ours, and then one of us would bring MBTI into the mix. And then eventually it just became kind of obvious that we should just talk about it in front of other people. It's not even work. It's like just something that naturally happens. Yeah. That's it. Oh, and then I remember that I was kind of inspired by oh no, now it's kind of awkward to say, but I think like I was a video editor at the time, and I studied filmmaking in college, and I was kind of thinking that we could do something that's kind of mixes the 2 aspects. And if you watch our earlier videos, I did edit them in a way where I added like a bunch of like random text and pictures and made them kind of funny. But I think we recently stopped doing that as much.
That's interesting. I actually knew that you had that background because one of your related channels, I think, is your channel, your other channel. You're like
oh right,
channel.
yes. Yeah, I haven't been uploading on that for like years, but yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. that's kind of, it's interesting because partly why I started making videos is because I would just, that would be like stuff I would talk about with nobody. And I like wanted to talk about it because like I would talk about it with my friends and I'd be like, oh, this is so cool. You guys should take this test and stuff. And people would be like, oh yeah. And then not many people were that interested in it. And like I have a few friends that are, but most people are just like, oh, okay, whatever. So I decided to put my energy into the channel. But how did you guys get to the point where you were able to feel comfortable typing people?
Interesting question. How do we get to this point? We first looked at some micro expressions videos from other people, and I don't know, what was my first reaction to that? I didn't really know if it intuitively made sense, but I was curious. Like, we were both curious, and we just started noticing like patterns in the people that we would meet, and it's like, okay, there is definitely something to the micro expressions. And then that's how we became interested in it. And then we took months to like figure out if what the other sources of information are accurate or not. And it seems like we developed some other things like in excess of what they said, or sometimes contradictory, and then we felt like confident in typing people that we randomly see or meet in person to that. And then we typed a lot of celebrities, and then we started talking about typing other people, and then we developed, okay, actually this might be good because I don't think we have any videos on it other than the J versus P lead speech, but we have another speech pattern metric that's NISE, NE, and SI, as in one of those would be in your top 2 functions, and vocal tone. So that's like FE and TE vocal tone. It's literally like the melody of your speech. I don't know if you people are watching this, but the vocal tone, like the rhythm and the rhythm and emphasis of me and Emily are like extremely different. So I think those are good complements to the visual aspects of that. And then we decided that we were confident enough to type other people.
Well, I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that kind of thing. I definitely don't feel confident typing people because of, I don't know, it's weird. But I know I mean, I have noticed certain things with micro expressions that even from just watching some of your videos and other people's videos on micro expressions, and I find it very interesting at the very least. Actually, we could look into the comment section and see if anybody's commenting.
Okay.
About. Okay, I'm gonna look and see.
I closed the window at the very beginning because I didn't think to mute the tab, but
yeah, if you mute it, you'll be good. You can just mute it and then
I'll reopen it.
I don't know if there's any questions yet.
Okay. Mute tab.
Do you guys have any questions so far for Calypso?
Oh God, I'm so nervous. It's like so. I don't know if it's obvious.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know. I've never done a live video before, but actually, I don't know. A lot of people say that I'm like very comfy looking or whatever online, and it's kind of nice. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. That was a little confidence booster when people are like, "You look too bubbly or confident to be an introvert." I'm like, oh really? Yay! Because I really wanted to be an extrovert when I was growing up. So.
Me too. That's why I typed as ENFJ. I really wanted to be extrovert, so I was like, because I love people, and I typed. I mean, it makes sense. It also makes sense if you typed as an ENFP. But yeah. No, I get really excited when people typically say that I'm an INFP or an INTJ. Like if they're being, they'll say like, oh, you're not an INFJ. And I'm like, well, I mean, those are good times, so I'm okay with that. But I'm not,
Right.
yeah. Let's see. How do you conquer nervousness and thoughts? And what thoughts do you think to calm you down? This was by Fernando.
Oh, okay. This is kind of interesting because I've been talking to Alex about it, about the topic of anxiety. I don't know. I think it's really different for each person. I find that a lot of things that make me nervous, I already know why I shouldn't be nervous about it, like in a rational way, but emotionally, I just don't feel it. So for me personally, maybe it's because I'm an intuitive. I find that thinking more about it just makes it worse. So I try to do some sort of physical exercise. I think that's probably the aspect I need. Sometimes it doesn't help, but most of the time it helps. It sounds kind of like a band-aid solution, but I do find that if I think in an e-spiral, it gets worse.
No, I think you're right. I actually just made a video today about just the NITI loop.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice for people was to kind of, well, for INFJs or people that are kind of whatever loop you're in, is to kind of engage with those extroverted functions or introverted functions, whatever it is. And so for me going out there and doing things and being with people, but in a different way. When you have anxiety, it is different, because I know when I was younger, if people would ask me if I was okay, that did not go well with me. Do you like when people say, if you're upset, do you like when people comfort you, or do you like when people leave you alone? Or what do you like?
I don't know. I think it depends. I would probably say generally I like it when people comfort me. I don't know. It depends. It's weird. I feel like there's the FE way of comforting people and an FI way. And there's just individual ways too. So
yeah, I think you're right about I just know that if people come over to me and say, "Are you all right?" It just makes me feel worse. I don't know why, but
okay, to be slightly more articulate on the last point, I think that when people try to cheer me up by solving the issue or by addressing the issue somehow, like the T issue, you are upset because you're upset at work because your boss is annoying, and here's the way to talk to him. I like that, because I don't know, maybe TE is a bit convoluted for me, but the FE way is usually just the situation is not that bad, cheer up. I can't, or here, I am your friend, here's a hug. It doesn't work as well usually. Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like any kind of comfort. Just leave me alone. Okay, let's see. Okay, guys, what questions do you guys have? Okay, I'm gonna think of some other questions that I want to ask you. So basically what I do in these interviews is I have questions in mind, and then I typically go with the flow. I think I told you that, but let's see. Going back to your film study, what kind of things did you study, and what would you like to do in the future with that, or apart from your YouTube channel?
So there were a lot of parts to it. There's obviously the theory and the practice, and obviously I took to the theory a lot more, film history, and theory was way more interesting and physically less painful than the practice. Lighting and cinematography classes, I always felt really nervous about those. And then I always liked directing as a mental exercise, like imagining how I would direct a scene, but the actual act of doing it, obviously I feel quite awkward being the boss of a situation, and the physical act of like handling things and handling people was quite nerve-wracking. So that was the part that I did not like. What I would like to do in the future, I don't know. I like writing a lot. Like screenwriting was probably my favorite part, and I guess I'm kind of disheartened by like how most movies nowadays are either like independently produced, and so like I would have to go and do the funding for that, or it's like a sequel to something else, or adapting a comic book. So but I do like other forms of writing, and I feel like screenwriting is probably the most difficult to break into, but I'm quite content doing other types of writing as well, like blogs or articles or books.
What are your future plans for your channel?
I would like to do more explanations that are straightforward. Like, I don't know if you saw the INTJ INFP Water series, but we need to do more videos on those where it's less Alex and I having a conversation and more like, here is what TE actually is. And become more of authority. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, the way we started is a bit non-conducive to being an authority, kind of. I don't know. It might be just two young women discussing a topic. And I think humor is very important, but I know a lot of people, they don't respect humor as well. So, or they don't see you in the same light anymore. But I do think that we have a lot of good and true information to offer, and I would like to find better ways of framing them.
Well, I think you're too hard on yourself. I feel like people think you guys are really intelligent, and I think people look up to you guys. I mean, I really value your videos, and I think they're amazing. So.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Oh. Okay, but I'll try to encourage myself more.
Yeah, you should. You should. Okay, so we got more questions. I don't know if you're looking at the chat.
But... okay, I'll look.
Okay. What was the best day of your life, and what made it such a great day for you?
Oh,
God. This is by Stephanie Douglas.
That's so hard to answer.
She's an INTJ, by the way.
Oh, what's the best day of my life? Oh my God. I don't know. I can't just pick one. Wait, but is that something that an NJ would be able to answer? Because I feel like, oh, maybe it is. Maybe if you see your life progression as kind of a graph of in my childhood I was low, and then in junior high I was high, and I was low. But I don't see it like that. There are so many experiences have so many good aspects.
I love your cat in the background, by the way.
Is she still? Oh, is she still in the background? Wait, where is she?
She's up. Look up. Look in the corner. She's on that thing.
Oh, okay. That's so funny because I have two. There's one over here too, where there's that blob.
So cute.
I didn't realize the second one was in the corner. That's funny. Okay. Okay, the first thing I thought of when I heard that question was honestly like one of the days after meeting my current boyfriend, because I think I've been a happier person in general after that. So yeah, I can't think of a specific day. That's like the most hard question I've ever heard.
I don't know if I have. Actually, I mean, I can definitely think of some days that I really liked, but I don't know. It is a hard question. I will give you that. I think it's hard to pinpoint. Okay, what would be your ideal day? If you don't have like a perfect day, what would be your ideal day?
Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll wake up and I would feel like I am an okay person. This is like so depressing. Okay, I would be, I don't know, everything would just be right with my FI. I would feel like, okay, I'm like a good person. I don't necessarily need to improve anything about myself. Things are good. I can hang out with my cats, and there's no pressure to do anything concrete. Oh my god, there's no pressure to accomplish anything by a set time in the day. I can just relax, and I don't know. Oh god, the main thing is that I can just not be anxious, be like happy with myself, and be with the people I like, and just not every day though. I wouldn't like to be with the people I like every day. That's too much. But yeah, that would be a good day.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good day to me, especially the cats thing. Like, I love my cats. My cats are great. And cats in general are, I don't know. I really like cats and well, just animals in general. Okay, so we have another question by Joel. Or maybe there's, yeah. So in my anthropology class, there's a healthy emphasis on using and testing multiple working hypotheses at once for the same phenomenon. Does that sound like something an NE user would enjoy?
Oh my god, testing for multiple
phenomena. And
oh, sorry, I'm gonna read the question.
Okay.
Okay, I would say that coming up with a hypothesis is something that I would enjoy, but testing it sounds kind of like a nightmare. It's kind of like physics class. I think the hypothesis part was okay. So like designing a lab was okay, but actually gathering data for the lab was by far my least favorite part about school ever. Like throwing a ball down the hallway and then measuring the distance of the ball. I don't know. It sounds like a simple thing and not necessarily hard, but I did not like that at all.
That's funny to me because I think that kind of stuff is fun.
Like, okay, Alex said that too. That's what she said about the IKEA furniture. She's like, oh yeah, I think assembling some furniture would be fun. I'm like, no.
No, I like to do stuff like that too sometimes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. The polar function and the inferior function difference like that. I think if I were to do an IQ test, which I guess I think of as kind of extroverted thinking, I could be introverted thinking too. But anyway, I don't think that's upsetting. Like it's not like super enjoyable, but I don't think that's upsetting. But doing like putting furniture together is quite upsetting to me.
Well, I also like the IQ test because I like the puzzles. It's fun. I like the puzzles. But yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. What happened? Oh, Michelle Wilson wants to know what happened when you first met your boyfriend.
What happened? Oh my god. Okay. What happened?
Like, how did you guys meet and all of that? So.
This is kind of funny. I don't know. Wait, did I ever share the story? I guess not. It's kind of funny. We met through like a dating app, and like we went to a restaurant, and then he showed me pictures of the blob cat that you just saw, and then he I don't know why it's so funny to me right now. God, I can't stop laughing. But he was like, "Do you wanna explore the city more? Because I just recently moved back to this city." Or do you want to go back to my place and see my cat? And I can't believe I said this, but I was like, I want to see your cat. And then I went to, yeah, and then I guess we watched a movie and something, and then I went back home. But yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, hey, person I just met, I'm going to go see your cat, even though this might be... I think I have like a good enough intuition to not be in a dangerous situation, so, but who knows?
Well, I don't know about me. Like, I feel like sometimes I can be very, like, I think I like, okay, the thing about me is, like, I'm either very on or I'm very off, in the sense that I'm like either really like engaged or really oblivious, or just like, because like I remember this one time I like met up with this guy, and that was like, I did not have any intention of dating him. He was just like this guy that I knew in college, and we like met at this like place that I always go to. It's called Marietta Square. It's in Georgia. It's like this little just like city, well, it's just like this city square, and we were walking around and stuff, and like I could kind of tell then that he was wanting more than friends, and he was like saying like, he was kind of acting a little odd and stuff. And then he's like, oh, do you want to go to an art gallery? And it was like at night, which is so stupid, because I was like, oh yeah, sure. And so I like follow him behind in my car, and so he's in the front, and I'm like following him in my car, and we like pull up to this residential area, and I'm like, this doesn't seem like an art gallery to me.
Wait, what? Okay.
And then I drive into the gates of this residential area, and I'm like, I don't think we're going to an art gallery.
No, this is so scary. I thought you and I are supposed to like predict these things. I'm kidding.
I know.
That was a stereotype.
I know. So
he just lied? What?
Okay. Well, anyways, so we go to this. We go to like the parking lot area, like in this residential area. And at this point, I'm like, this is his apartment. Like, I'm not going in there. But I still get out of the car, and I'm like, where are we? And he's like, the art gallery. And basically, I don't know if he told me then. I think he did. He was like, I think he said something like that there was like some art that he had in his apartment that he wanted me to see. And I just like left. I just like drove off. This is like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And I just drove away, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I told my sister, and my sister's like, Emily, you're so stupid.
Wait, why? Okay, honestly, if someone was, maybe the night thing was weird, but I don't know. There's some cities that have art galleries that open late. I probably, like, it doesn't really sound that fishy to go to an art gallery, but yeah, that's unfortunate. That he lied. Okay.
Yeah, he lied. And then he got like upset. Like he's like, when I didn't go, like he like messaged me, and I forget what he said. I think I'm still friends with him on Facebook. I don't know. But yeah, I was completely turned off by that. And I wasn't even interested in him in that way anyways. But yeah, so it was funny.
Yeah, no, lying is one of the worst things to happen. Like misleading, like purposely being that misleading on a date is just the worst.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be a date. It was like supposed to be us hanging.
That's even worse. That's even, I don't know. They're both levels of bad.
I know what you mean. But yeah. So that being said, I would probably, I feel like I have a pretty good intuition too, in the sense that like if I was to actually go into someone's house, it would probably not be like someone that I feel like is a serial killer. But then again, they could be, who knows? But yeah.
I was like, he has a cat. Nothing will go wrong. I must be the cat.
I know. I feel like that's like such a good way to like lure like people, especially introverts.
Lure people? That sounds so sinister when you put it like
yeah, just be like, hey, I have some kitties. People on my channel, well, I'm gonna make more videos with my cats in the future, but like my cats are really cute, and like especially Fleur. Well, Pumpkin, my like older cat, my cat Pumpkin is 16 and a half, so he's very old. And then Fleur's just like this cute black cat, and she has like black everywhere and just has like these yellowy orange eyes, and she's just adorable. And she's fluffy, so
Aw.
Yeah, so a lot of people fall for her. So I could just be like, hey, you guys, you
Yeah,
want to come over?
do it.
Okay. So let's see.
Do you ever think about the MBTI types of cats? Oh my gosh, it's so silly. I don't believe that cats have MBTI types, but I do like think about it.
I do.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I think my cat's I think Pumpkin, my orange cat, is an ENFJ. But yeah, I mean, I know that that's kind of weird. But yeah, no, I do think about that stuff. I actually do think that my cats have personality types. And I think my dog is an ESFP. But
It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like all dogs are ESFP. Or like
I don't think so.
They
but
have
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they have the like that stereotype, I guess.
I actually thought about, I mean, this is not like me saying, well, I actually thought about like using my animals to like show the MBTI types, but like obviously they're not all of the personality types, even if they have one of those. But I was like gonna like dress them up and like be like, this is an INTJ. So I may do that because my yeah. So
that's like the whole reason we came up with the MBTI happy hour thing, because we can say like more stereotypical things and more silly things, and it'd be like, well, it's alcohol or something. I don't know. It's just for fun.
Just blame it on alcohol.
Yeah, it's like a separate segment of the whole, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see if there's any more questions. I mean, people are commenting on that story about the guy.
Okay, so I'm probably good, right? Unless you have.
I think we're pretty much good, unless you guys have any more questions, like just to kind of end it off. But I think we've talked about a lot of stuff, so I feel like it's pretty good. This is actually one of my shorter videos that I've done. I did a video just a week ago that was 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
A live video. But yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, it was awesome talking to Calypso, and we are going to go. Calypso, do you have anything that you want to say before we go?
Oh, just, thanks for watching. Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for your questions. I enjoyed being here despite the nerves, so yeah.
Well, I think you did a great job. And if you guys haven't, by whatever chance, haven't checked out Calypso and Alex's channel, INTJ and INFP Coffee, you definitely should. You should definitely subscribe. They have awesome videos, and I think they're really funny and very interesting and very intelligent women. And you guys should go over there and show some support. But
oh, that's so nice. Oh.
So I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys are having an awesome night or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Bye, guys.